doing the 1-2, as they say, making life as interesting as possible.
Okay.
I finally caught up on your transformation to Scott Van Pelt today, which I do commend, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I am officially 11 pounds down on the way to 215.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so 11 pounds down on the way to 215.
Yes, yeah. I'm not near yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I'm definitely not near yet.
So 215 was my goal.
Okay.
215 was my goal. I was 196 this morning.
Oh, nice.
So we blew through that in May.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I haven't been over 215 since May 11th. I've been keeping track.
Oh, wow.
This right here helps me keep everything together.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people tell me the only time they lost weight with their Apple Watch was when they took it off.
I was gonna say, like, you're actually the person that's using it like the manufacturer intended.
Yeah, man. You know, I use it to track workouts. I use it to track what I'm burning. I use it to track my weight fluctuation, my heartbeat, use it to track all kinds of stuff. And it actually helps because it helps you understand what's going on inside of your body way more than you would otherwise. You have a whole economy operating inside of you. And you don't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
But there's supply and demand, there's imports, there's exports, you got everything going on. And you have no clue if you're not keeping your fingertip on the pulse and seeing what's going on.
Very true. Very true. You raised great points. Well, man, I mean, first, congratulations, because it was like 70 pounds in 6 months, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that went into it. But yeah, 70 pounds in 6 months. Hopefully tomorrow, I'm hoping to see 195 on the scale for the first time on this journey, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, since you already blew by your goal, what is the goal now? Is it just maintain, or are you going to try to get even lower on your weight goal?
So it depends on who you ask, right?
Okay. All right.
Because you know the marriage is the only equation where 1 + 1 is supposed to equal 1.
Believe
so if you ask my wife, the answer will be you don't need to get no smaller.
Yeah, there you
don't
go.
Lose any more weight. If you ask me, I would like to get a little bit smaller, but work on composition and let my composition be different. You know, I look at a lot of my friends who box, and when I stand next to them and they're fighting at 160, 170 something, you look at their body composition and you look at my body composition at 196, and it don't look anything the same. Now,
but are they shorter than you though?
You know, some of them are the same height. I got a guy who I talk to on a fairly regular basis who, you know, he's as tall as me and he fights at 154, former world champion.
Wow. Paul Williams type of stuff. Right there.
Yeah. Well, Paul.
Well, Paul was like 143 or something like that. Something crazy.
147, somewhere around there. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Then you got that tall kid who's like 6'7" and fighting at 154, which makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right now it's all about composition.
Okay.
But the biggest battle for me in the beginning was working on switching from, you know, eating whatever I want, whenever I want, to becoming a full-fledged vegetarian.
Yeah.
So I've been a vegetarian since January 11th. So just over 6 months of no meat. And it's a lifestyle that I've grown to love. Because, man, I remember clearly like a year and a half ago sitting in this Indian restaurant before the pandemic. And it's going to sound so wild knowing the way we grew up, right? But I felt bad for eating this piece of chicken.
Wow.
And it was the first time that it ever hit me. Like, eating another living thing. Well, I mean, plants are alive too, for a certain extent, but
we'll never. I definitely don't understand the problem here so far. But
right. So, but I'm saying, like, it just, for some reason, I just kind of felt disgusted, and then I was able to push it out of my brain and then keep going. But we did a fast for the church, and I got halfway through it, and they asked me to pray on a prayer call, and I kind of clown vegetarians. I was like, Lord, you know, there are people who live this lifestyle for whatever reason. And people started laughing while I was praying. I was like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And then I felt bad. And then I actually realized that I was starting to feel better physically. And when I was starting to feel better physically, that's when I said, let's go. And I know you've tried this. Like you've done this for extended periods of time. So what was that transition like for you?
Man, again, much to your point here, you just internally feel a lot better.
Yep.
I had to do it for potential budding health reasons. What up, Jay? Dog, what up? What
Jay talking about?
He was like Scott Van Pelt.
Scott Van Pelt. So here's what I got to ask. Was it you who said Scott Van Pelt first, or were you and Jay talking and it became Scott Van Pelt?
Oh no, it was definitely me, because I scrolled and I was like, yo, I was like, who we look like? I was like, not Patrick. I was like, Scott. I was like, let me look. I was like, Van Pelt. And then it said, boom, Scott Van Pelt. I was like, yeah, my man's from late night on the on SportsCenter. Yes, he looked just like Scott Van Pelt. And then you was holding the picture. I mean, holding the paper and everything. It just made sense.
Hilarious.
But yo, so you know, I probably should not even be like just trying to have like part-time vegetarian days, right? Because sure, when we were like in high school, I had an ulcer. Okay. When I was like 30, I had a colonoscopy because I just felt greasy, and TMI, I had anal leaking, and I was like, yo, what in the world is happening? And I knew I was destroying my body with just like meat, fried foods, and just like mounds and mounds of just disgustingness. And I knew it was time to just like clean up. Also, I wasn't looking too hot when I was naked. And that's always been the thing for me. So with that, I began to just challenge myself like, hey, well, I'm not going to eat beef and pork for 30 days. I'm not going to do this for 45 days. And then sometimes it just grew. And then I think it was 2018 or 19, or maybe both years, I just started being like, yo, I'm only doing vegetarian, or I'm going to go vegan, or I'm going to do like a combination of both. And what I found is that the more I've done that it's now impossible for me to eat meat every single day. Like I just can't do it anymore. And my primary drink is water. Like, I mean, I've never been a big pop drinker past high school, but like now I don't even do lemonade, fruit punch, and other juices like regularly. I don't do a lot of juices from concentrate at all. Like it's strictly water. I've gotten through the entire last 4 days. Like it's been water or smoothies. Like, and that's just it. Yep. And even and obviously, you know, I've never been the biggest fan of dairy. But I don't even and I don't really touch almond milk like that. I know everybody is like really high on that right now. But even in my smoothies, I don't get it. Except that one time I had to try this one, and I was like, oh, let me try it. And then it's just like, even just that milky dairy feeling, I just don't like it. Pizza, I'm still good with. American cheese is for peasants, so we don't mess with that. And you know, I do a little provolone. You know what I'm saying? I do a little cheddar. You know, that's about it. And that's time to time. But I was strongly considering going a vegetarian last year, and I think I just got caught up in the web of moving and fast food and not really having prep time because I'm working 2 jobs now, so I kind of fell off the wagon on that. But even just going to still stand in line with the topic for today,
too many tabs open.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got to start pushing myself to really hit this goal. Like 215, 235 used to be the goal, then 225 was. And then I was like, you know what? I really need to get down to 215, because 215 means that even if I was to gain 10 pounds, I would still be very happy with where I would be at, like body wise and weight wise. So that's just the new mission. And then when I looked at the scale and realized I got back all the way back up to 267, I was like, well, man, even though it may not look like I'm carrying that much weight around, I don't want to be carrying that much weight around. Right. And also, it's just not good on my back. It's not good on my knees. It's just like, I'm 40 now. Like I shouldn't be lugging around 200 over 250 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's literally just for me, it's becoming a new lifestyle base of change and wanting just more than to just to be existing. You know what I'm saying? Pushing myself to limits, pushing myself to new forms of greatness. I am one of those people that believe that what you see in the mirror reflects about how you live your life. And I mean that like from a mental aspect, spiritual aspect, physical aspect, like the work you're putting in on yourself is kind of a reflection of the work you're going to put out in this world. I do believe in that, and I want to be a mirror of that. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't rock with a lot of stuff that Skip Bayless says. But what I will say is that he was talking about something in regards to eating dessert one day. And he chose not to eat a brownie. And he said he didn't want to eat it because he lives by the theory that if you eat it, you wear it. And I said to myself, I can rock with that. Because, you know, for one, I married the cheat code when it comes to this stuff. And I think we talked about this before over text. But, you know, my wife is a fitness instructor. My wife does all the cooking. She understands all the nutrition stuff. So, like, I have everything that I need to succeed.
Yeah, you went forever with that.
Down with the home team. And so, like, I don't have to go outside the house and look for that. Now, I do just because I don't want to take, you know, my wife has to work with other people.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
And I go work at the gym or go work with the boxers or go do whatever I do. And long story short, like I got tired of looking at her looking amazing and me looking like a pile of glue. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's already this idea. That's not idea. It's a fact. I mean, look at you, right? Like, look at several other people that we know. This black don't crack theory has a whole lot of science behind it.
Yeah, man. And I'm still pretty handsome, man.
One of my biggest fears in the world is that my wife will be 60 looking 25 and I'll be 60 looking 85. And then everybody will think that I'm some sort of sugar daddy when really my wife is older than me by a few days. And I probably shouldn't say that, but it's reality. And so I don't want to be that guy. So I'm trying to do everything that I can to take care of myself, man.
Yeah.
And so,
but definitely don't want your wife to look like a caregiver. That would be totally jacked up.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? People would be like, man, I remember it's been a few times. Like, cause you know, when you see interracial couples, most of the time, it's a black man and a black man and a white woman.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not as, I mean, it's more prevalent now than it was some years ago. But you don't see too many white guys married to a black woman. And so we've had some incidents, whatever the word is. If we went to college, whatever, you know, I got my degree. You can't take them from me. And so we had some situations. That's what I'm trying to say. Man, we were in the grocery store one time and she had gotten ahead of me. And she left the cart on one side and went to go find something on the other side. And I come around the corner and grab the cart and start pushing it. And it's these two black guys who are like, hey, my man, that's her cart. I'm like, it's mine too. Like,
black was about to jump on your head. They were like,
right. Like they called themselves, you know, I appreciate them protecting her.
Looking out for her. Black women.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, you ain't got to do that. Like we in this together. But anyway, so in regards to this having too many tabs open thing.
Yes.
I understand where you're coming from when you're saying you got to be great at one thing. I'm not sure that I'm 100% on board. Okay.
That's fine. That's why we build dialogue here.
Let's look at it from this angle. What is the one thing Google is great at?
Helping you find something.
Is that true?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna disagree.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that the one thing that Google is great at is making you forget that they failed.
Really?
Let's think about this for a minute.
Yeah, because I think I got a different perspective. So, but go ahead, please.
The one thing that Google is great at is making you forget that they failed. Now, I think they're great at some other things too. I would probably put helping you find things as number 2 that they're great at, but making you forget that they failed is the thing that they are the best at. Do you remember? Let's think back in time. Google Wave.
Jesus. Took a couple blinks right there. Go ahead.
So you don't remember Google Wave, do you?
I definitely don't.
Google Wave at one point was supposed to be at the forefront of technology. Was supposed to be that next thing that was going to be so great, and it was going to be this collaborative resource that everybody could use, and you were going to be able to send documents back and forth and work on them together at the same time. And nobody liked it. It just was not able to deliver on the promises, and they took a big L on that one.
Okay.
So what they did with Google Wave was they looked at it, analyzed it, stripped away the stuff that didn't work, remixed it, repackaged it, and brought it back as Google Drive. Now, everybody knows Google Drive today.
Right, absolutely.
But nobody remembers Google Wave. Remember when Google looked at social media and said, Twitter, we can do that.
Yeah.
And they tried Google Buzz.
Right.
You remember Google Buzz? How long did Google Buzz last?
I want to say about 72 hours. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
But nobody thinks about Google Buzz when they think about Google.
True.
Do you remember Google Plus? They looked at Facebook and said, we can do that too.
Absolutely. I tried to get on Google Plus because people were trying to get me on there. And I was like, ugh, this is kind of inconvenient.
Google Plus was like a gym membership. A lot of folks had them, but nobody knew what to do with it.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So like what they did was they stripped all the stuff away that didn't work, repackaged it, and brought it back as something else. You remember Google Glass?
No, I literally I'm being educated right now. I have no idea what Google Glass is.
Google Glass was a literal pair of glasses that you could put on your face that had a camera right here. And that had in the lens of the glasses a screen that would allow you to see information built into the screens. It was literally like some RoboCop type stuff.
Oh, wow. I wonder if that's what they were shooting POV porno with.
You know, I wouldn't know. But
True.
What I will say is that it failed miserably. They spent billions on that thing. Billions. And so what Google does is they make you forget about their failures.
Which, okay, now.
And so that is their number 1 skill.
Okay.
And they can do that because they have the number 2 skill, which is helping you find information.
Okay. Seeing where you went, and I truly understand your perspective. However, I think you need to flip your 1 and 2, because what I think you can't miscount is while all those fails were happening, you could still hop on google.com and be like, I think Trump is an idiot. And then there'll be an article that says like, yo, I think Trump is an idiot. And this is why. And it was like, I don't know how to make rice. And then there was like, or how do you bury somebody in the backyard and it doesn't smell? Like, no matter what you wanted to do, Google was going to give you the information while constantly failing. And the reason why I believe, Keith, is to your point about them failing all the time, because they have the greatest form of data. People typing in some of the smartest and dumbest things that they can think of at all hours of the day. Somebody, I'm convinced, for instance, Google Glass, I'm sure somebody was like, I would love to have a way to see my reports on my glasses. and then a bunch of articles popped up and they were like, you know what? Yo, can we make that for this idiot here?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think Trevor really wants this.
Trevor.
Let's see if we can do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Google Plus, I effing hate Facebook. I wish they would just get rid of it. He was like, hey, You know what? I've seen that 10,000 times today.
Yeah.
You think Sherry and the crew would like if we did like Google Plus, so they never have to use Facebook again? So I totally understand your whole perspective on where that come from, but I think number 2 was the direct influence of number 1, because they were like, well, we got all this data. Why don't we just try to make all of this and really corner the market? It's literally, and you know what? This is all making me think right now. This is probably why Bezos did what he was able to do. He was like, oh, so Google was just going to try to do everything. I think I could try to do everything, but I won't do it with information. I'll do it with product like Walmart and Target does.
Yeah.
And look where we are.
Yeah. But at the same time, so I'll concede that you make a great point, and that I may have my 1 and my 2 flipped.
Okay.
But what I will say is that I think it highlights that it ain't really just one. Like, you do need the one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But I mean, I ain't seen too many boxers win a fight with just a jab. But
True.
that jab will get you all kinds of points. It'll get you all kinds of stuff. But right. you gotta have 2 hands. And so when the conversation is, what's my one thing? That's where I step back and I hear that and I go, I mean, I hear Cam, but I'm not going to get on here and like just tell him, dog, you wrong. That would have been like a 1999 Keith conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Man, I was a wild dude. But in 2021, I'm looking at this now like, well, like, is that really true? Is it really just one thing that I need to be great at? And I think that 6 months of counseling, which was a huge part of me getting to a point where I could see myself differently, and then start to lose the 70 pounds that I lost. Now, I didn't go to counseling because of my weight, but I went to counseling because of other reasons.
Okay.
And started talking about things and doing that. It helped me to realize how much I was allowing past situations to place a ceiling on my progression, to place parameters on my progression.
Okay.
And it helped me to start taking those things off. Google does not have an emotional commitment to failure.
True. Right.
Because they are able to just strip away what didn't work, keep the core, and repackage it and bring it back with something else. And when you look at people who have, what's my man's name from Virgin?
Richard Brand.
Richard Brand. What one thing does Richard Brand do?
He
got a record company. He got an airline. He got
an island.
He got ships
Hotels.
Going into outer space.
Yeah, but his one thing then I would say record executive or / producer, because that built the foundation to expand upon.
Yeah.
Like I totally get, like, I do believe that you are correct in your thought process. Let's go back to boxing because I know that's your thing. Let's take everybody's guy but mine, Floyd Mayweather.
He ain't my guy either, but okay. I hear you.
Right. So Floyd Mayweather, he's always in the conversations of, possibly the best boxer ever, right? That definitely they call him the best of his generation, and all of those positive affirmations and accolades and what have you. He's not necessarily known for his great punching power. He's not necessarily known for his aggressive style of boxing, but what he is known for is, and even I'll give him this, being the greatest defensive fighter of all time. He's great at not being hit in a sport that revolves around contact. Yes, he's a boxer like many other boxers. Yes, he can use his left and his right hands. Yes, he has to train hard and do all these things. And I'm not saying that he doesn't do them great, but his one great thing, no matter what, and the reason why he called himself the Da Vinci Code is because in 60 minutes, he can't be hit 100 times. like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's his thing. Much like Tyson was great at instilling fear before you even got to the bell ringing. You know, I think even within a profession, and I had this conversation with the VP of the company that I work for. He was like, "What is the one thing that we can't do without you?" You know, like, well, like everybody's here doing the job, like other people do my job, but he was like, but and because he was even going about his own journey when he's telling the story, and he was saying, what is the one thing that I can do that nobody else can do? That means if I go on vacation, if I take a break, like this can't get done because I do it and nobody does it better than me, or nobody's capable of doing this but me. And I think that is the one great thing. That's what I think it is. Like, it doesn't mean that you are pigeonholed to be that forever. Mm-hmm. I think it just builds the foundation to your greatness in any other area, because the same mindset will still apply, the same skills that you the same core values and skills that you have will still need to be applied in other areas. And yes, you can become you can achieve greatness in other things, but your bread and butter will always be X. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's the cornerstone, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like, again, McDonald's, whether you pick the fries or the Big Mac, it's one of them, right? like, you know what I'm saying? Again, if you, Colonel Sanders, the 11 herbs and spices, we know that chicken, the chicken is the chicken. Why did they achieve greatness? Because of specifically the 11 herbs and spices, because apparently nobody else has it. Everybody else got like 4, but they got 11. and that's why they here. And General George chicken ain't happening. You know,
one is probably Coke, but
true. I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I mean, I've been able to kick it, but like, there's a lot of folks hooked on that stuff. Yeah. And when we went to Jamaica, it was the most popular restaurant, fast food restaurant down there.
Wow, really? In Jamaica?
The line was around the corner. I'm like, y'all got jerk chicken right over there.
Right. Yeah. No way I'm going to KFC and there's jerk chicken on deck. Yeah, I almost risked getting catching a bullet to go to Jerk Villa on 79th in Chicago. And I passed up quite a few KFCs on the way.
Man, I would never, ever, ever in my life make that decision. But anyway, man, no, I hear what you're saying, and I'm glad that we had a chance to discuss this, because I think that a lot of times, and I'll just speak to me, right? This is not me saying you're doing this.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
But I know I've wasted so much time thinking like, what's my thing? What can I do? How can I? And what I'm seeing in my life is that, I've run for office. Mm-hmm. I've been elected. I've lost. I've applied for jobs that, I've applied for jobs that I missed. I've announced on stages that I never probably should have been on. And I've, lost announcing jobs that I probably never should have been on. But I got those gigs, and I've done those things. And I just, for me, it's all about looking at the pattern and being able to see what runs consistent throughout all of it, and what runs consistent with me, and figuring out that that's my flow. And as long as I'm in that flow, I know that I'm gonna be good.
Okay. I like that, though. I sincerely like that. And I think there's something to be said, and you should even be applauded for your lack of discouragement. Because, obviously, we come from the same place. We both from Freeport, Illinois, at the end of the day.
Believe it.
And we know, we've watched tiny obstacles get in some great people's way. And they've never really made a pivot or a sidestep or an audible or a detour to even try that one thing again, let alone something else. So And you know, I think you and those people, and I'll even throw myself in there. I think those are the two representations of the Freeport mentality, right? You either will just succumb to being a product of your environment, a victim of your circumstance, or you'll be like, yeah, I get it, but nah, this ain't it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like those are kind of your two options. And I mean, obviously, whether you're in a small town or a big city, you know, you should have that mindset in general. You know, the wannabes or the gonnabes, right? That's kind of the thing. But I think just navigate, you know, a DMX line always sticks out in my mind, and I always remind myself of it to make sure I don't fall in this trap. When he was like, I got a lot of dreams, but I ain't really chasing mine. You know, and I was like, oh, I don't want to sit down one day and hear and identify with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be sitting and my daughter's here and, you know, my future children are here. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, I had a lot of dreams, man. But, you know, around 40, man, I stopped all of that. I stopped chasing all of those. Like, and we just, you know, we regular, we coasting, we doing whatever, because I just don't think that's a way to live. So, you know, I think about that again, tying it all in with the, you know, too many tabs open, but it's my one great thing. And I guess I just am very fortunate and very blessed to at least have the mindset of like, well, I got to keep going, even if I don't know where. You know, that's even why I started doing these lives. You know, where's my finish line? Like, literally, I don't know where I'm going, but slow motion is better than no motion, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from, man. And, you know, the other side of the coin is that, you know, you've mentioned that we're 40 now a few times. And the reality is, you know, we both have commitments that we got to keep. And that too many tabs open conversation becomes a whole different ball game. Because at this point, it's about where am I investing and where am I withdrawing? Where am I making deposits? Where am I making withdrawals? Because I can't be out here trying to do everything and my kids don't have the guidance that I wish I would have got.
Yes.
You know, so like when you go look at my son's podcast and all the success that he's achieved with that.
The
only time you hear my voice on the podcast is when we accidentally left the record on and I told him that, you know, you knocked that out the park. Oh, and, you know, we just left it because we thought it was kind of like a little cute kid moment kind of thing. It's the only time you hear my voice on the podcast. You know, 5 years ago, I'd have been on every other minute, you know, because my presence, you know, where I was at mentally, I needed to be there. I needed that for my ego. I needed to be the voice out front. This ain't about me. This is Read Books with Josiah. It ain't Read Books with Josiah and his dad.
Right.
And so it's all about, you know, making sure that I'm closing enough tabs so that I got enough time to let him be great and can support him being great. And so with every interview request that he gets, somebody's got to make sure the kid went and got a haircut. Somebody's got to make sure that he's prepared with the questions in advance. Somebody's got to make sure that we got the audio set up right and everything. I don't have to be on camera.
Right.
But somebody's got to take care of all that.
Absolutely.
Now we teaching him to learn how to do it, you know, but for now, somebody else has got to do that. So it's another level that comes along with having too many tabs open. Because I could very easily be working with 3 different universities, announcing for 7 different sports teams and doing all these different things. And my kids never see me.
Right.
Running for office and doing this and doing that, sitting on this board, sitting on that board. And I don't say this to brag or boast or anything like that, but it's just more along the lines of saying it is so easy to have so many tabs open that you forget about that kid that's sitting right over here on the other side of the computer.
Word. No, and you know what? I'm glad you said that. And it's so, and the irony of this happening on today, because my daughter called me earlier today and was like, "Hey, can you pick me up from school every Wednesday?" And I was like, yeah, sure, what's going on every Wednesday? She was like, well, that's the day I definitely won't have homework. And, I can come by and we can just hang out. And I was like, yeah. Flashback, literally a year ago, that's why I moved here in the first place, to have even just that moment of the car ride home. To like, you know what I'm saying? And just that moment to pour in to her, get information for her, from her, as well as give information to her, and then really spend some time with her. So yeah. And even, obviously priority is, providing the comfortable living and for not only for myself, but for her as well. I still took that every Wednesday off. Like now I let my part-time job know, like, hey, Wednesday nights, I am not available until like the next summer, because that's my daughter's pickup day. And that's that. And even just on how I got the job, and when I tell them why I moved, like they, because everybody asks you when you show up in the Illinois plates and the driver's license from Illinois, like, what brings you here? So I break down my story as to why I'm even here in the first place. And then, like, they're already at an understanding of like, oh, wow, that's commendable. I thank you. He's like, so look, whenever you need those days off, you let us know. And so far, everything has been copacetic. It's been great. Like, I just put down whenever I need a day. And I don't even tell them what it's for, but they know. There's like, well, that's why you're out here. Like, even the owner is like, yeah, no, you're out here because of that. Like, I'm sorry you had to come in. I was like, no, it's handled. Like, trust me, like whenever I agree to something, I try my best to honor it. And then, but I also, I'll never forget why I'm here in the first place. So, I think, one of the very important lessons, I think, of just what you're saying, even with your son, and what I'm saying right now here with just these actions, is just as far as picking up Layla from school, is that, there takes a certain amount of selflessness to understand that is the biggest contribution, especially when you're dealing with children. Like, yo, it's not about you. You know what I mean? Like you're going to do some things or not do some things strictly for the betterment or the uplifting of them.
Yep.
And that is and sometimes, whether we're chasing money, we're chasing success, we're chasing careers, we're chasing security. I think it's important that we never lose sight of that, because this is why we do it. Like if I had nothing to live for, I wouldn't even have probably half a job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I look at her and I look at my future as two things that I definitely need to live for. So that increases the hustle. But at the same time, it's like, don't forget, make time for the person you're hustling for, like, because that is going to supersede all.
And it helps you right size your expectations, your goals, and your dreams.
Believe it.
Because, we do the exercise with the students on a regular basis, where you have only 168 hours in a week. So when you take that 168 hours in a week and you start to break it down, it sounds like a lot, but man, it disappears quick. Wow. Time and money are the two things that if you don't have a plan, it'll disappear, and then you'll wonder where it went.
Believe it.
And more often than not, you won't have anything to show for it.
Man.
And so when you start to break down that 168-hour exercise, you see where your spots are. And if you're not putting all the things and being realistic about all the things that you have to get done and get taken care of, then, the outcome is never going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so, having to build in time for the kids and then contingency plans when the plans don't go right, because inevitably with kids, Murphy's Law is going to kick in.
Yeah.
And so, it helps you to right size your expectations, your dreams, your goals, all those things. But man, I'm glad to see you out here still pursuing everything. I said earlier, I think that, you would be a great life coach like Kevin Samuels is for, well, I'm not saying he's great with relationship advice, but I could honestly see you doing something like that with people and having conversations, because I think one of the things that you are really great at is calling it like you see it. And there's a lot of times where, you know, we look at our friend group, and when you look at how we came up in our late teenage years. And so you got Jay, you got Kevin, you got the artist formerly known as Adam.
Yeah.
David Coffey.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Love him.
Absolutely.
And there's certain questions where if I know I want somebody's unbiased opinion, I'm gonna ask Cam.
Hey,
and it's not because I don't value Jay's opinion, I don't value David's opinion, I don't value Kevin's opinion.
Right.
But if I want the unadulterated, unfiltered, straight to the point opinion, I'm coming to Cam.
Hey, man. And I sincerely take pride in that. Like, that was my thing. Because I mean, again, like I was explaining in the first video, I never felt I came from a malicious place. It was just like, hey man, this is what it is. Like, I mean, and I'm sorry. I'm kind of sorry I got to be the one to tell you, or it's like, yo, you probably need to hear this before you do that.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, a lot of times when I'm talking with my students, because in my full-time role, I still have a caseload of 150 students that I serve as their academic advisor for. And the older I get, the more I'm like, man, I sound like somebody's daddy. But I mean, I am. But so I have to tell my students all the time, like, look, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to prepare you. And this is what you're about to walk into. You can't just memorize a whole bunch of facts and go take a math exam at the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Or a biology exam at the University of Michigan. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
That biology exam is going to give you 5 multiple choice options. All of them are going to contain elements of the truth, and you got to figure out which one is the most truthful. That ain't like high school.
Yeah.
They ain't prepare you for that. So let's talk about how you prepare for that.
Yeah.
And
you definitely ain't going to abracadabra to dab out that. It's not gonna happen. It's never happening.
You do that, your exam's gonna look like the foot.
Right.
And so I try to tell these students, man, and I think that's one thing that you're really good at. And I think it cannot be overlooked that you saw an industry before it was born. Like you really do see things before they happen. And when the right people get around you, either they're going to push you and help you go make millions, or they're going to capitalize on your ideas and make millions themselves.
Word. Yeah, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of that is in the process right now. Like not even over gassing myself, but it's just like, I think about and I think about the small things, Keith. Like I remember on Behind the Rhyme, I think in 2012, summer 2012, I remember writing about radio need a true school hip hop format radio station. And by 2015, I was cracking the mic part-time, the voice track on Boom 102.9, a throwback hip hop station. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow. Like, and that was kind of the fix for me, right? Because I was like, yo, I thought of this 3 or 4 years ago, and I literally get a chance to work for this station. But I was like, wow, why didn't I start putting that together myself, even if I didn't quite know, if I didn't quite have money for a tower to make it happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, I know I worked for a company that if had I pitched the idea, they just would have took it, ran with it, and been like, hey, thanks, nigga. You get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been cool.
Want to be very clear, that was Cameron's voice, not
yes.
mine.
Yes, that was all me.
Not my
Keith,
voice.
Keith does not say that. Ask Kevin, because he set him up when we were kids. Oh, you got a soundboard. This is ill. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. Hey, real quick. Shout out to Cloak the Scribe. He happened in. Obviously, J Dub, one of our hometown friends, and I'll say I don't want to say vagrants because we're not tramps, but like one of the mischievous bunch that we were. Shout out to Jerry Wade, my OG, my mentor in this radio space. Keith has left the building. I think that he might have timed out on the stream, or maybe the conversation is just over. I don't know, but I'm going to hang out with you guys for a minute just in case he comes back, and he did.
My fault.
Oh, no, you all good. I had to make sure. I just wanted to make sure.
I had flashbacks to Jeep Cherokees, BB guns, dark alleys, and and I hit the wrong button on the computer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Man, a lot of crazy things happened in the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of crazy things.
99 was a wild time.
We hear though, man.
But yeah, no, Cam, man, listen.
Mm-hmm.
You see things, right? And one of the things that I've been so impressed by over the last 6 months, 7 months is how much you've pulled back to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And how much you've pulled back, and not just because I think if we're, I think, well, I don't know, maybe you can tell me, but I think you've gone through phases with social media where you'll spew whatever.
Oh yeah,
and anything out there, right?
Oh yeah, like the first week of episodes was about exactly that.
Yeah, and so okay, well, I just told him myself I didn't watch, but we're here now. I got your back. But what I'm saying is, you've made tremendous change and tremendous growth, and some of these things that you're seeing, just start working on them. Like, don't tell no, like one of my least favorite things. Like, I be wanting to slap people sometimes. If I did this, would you support it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you gonna ask people on that? Because first of all, 90% of them people lying.
Word.
Second of all, you were the one who said you can't worry about who's not rocking with you.
Right. Yeah.
And if you're looking to social media to determine whether your idea is a good one, and people are going to get sensitive with me and say, oh, but Keith, how would I know? But Keith, but you just lost all your rings, man. Like, just
the soundboard is crazy right
now. Do it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Do it and put it together. And man, pick 2 or 3 ideas that you're going to develop. And you ain't got to talk to nobody like this,
right?
But let's talk behind the scenes. And I'm not saying it's got to be me, but I remember seeing D reaching out, like, man, let's connect, let's talk, let's have more conversations about this. Dog, it's enough people from the home team where if we really just stepped together, stuck together, and supported when needed, we can make a lot of things happen in this world.
Absolutely.
Because Lord knows it's already, I mean, somebody basically already took over the media industry for a little while from our hometown. Somebody already took over the boxing industry from the hometown. It's not like we don't have Super Bowl champions from the hometown.
Right.
Little old Freeport, 25,000 people.
You know what I'm saying? No mall.
But
you've
also been blessed to work with some amazing people all around the world.
Yeah.
So, you don't get to see that for just no reason. You've been shown that so you can take it and go make it happen with yourself. This is one of the conversations we had earlier today with some other people was you can't share your dreams with everybody.
Man, super facts.
You really can't share your dream. Not to preach, but Joseph has this dream, right? That all his brothers are bowing down to him. The dummy went back to his brothers and was like, I had this dream that y'all were bowing down to me. They sold him into slavery and told his father that he died. And this kind of stuff happens all the time because we're not thinking about it or we're looking for validation.
Word.
Be your own validation, man. Go make these things happen. I'm gonna stop preaching to you though.
I'm
not here to prophesy.
No, man. I thank you for saying that, and it coming from a different voice that's not my own, because within this social media world over the last 10 to 15 years, I have been all of those things. And so the fact that you notice the pullback and you notice those things and the shift and the changing is because I truly understand, one, how slow I looked doing all that. Because the thing is, if you have an idea, you got to move on it. Because I said a long time ago, and if Versatile is on here, he remembered this. I was like, it's always one out of every 4 people ain't feeling you. So I'm gonna keep rocking for the 3 that really do. Mm-hmm. And the 25% will definitely show up, but the 75 will also show up as well once it's completed. I think it was the Young OG project by Fabulous when he was like, you should make more moves and make less announcements. I'm like, man, you know what? I need to start living by that, because I got so wrapped up into, obviously being corporate radio company guy, trying to get the websites off the ground. I started asking so many questions that I started even like, maybe it's even a twinge of self-doubt in myself, where I'm just asking so many questions about what I should do next. When it was like, I never had this problem before. I felt that I needed to come here and ask and share so much.
Yeah.
So now I think everything that I say, it resonates greater and it hits a little harder, because now I'm hard to catch. You know what I'm saying? And now all of my complete thoughts are reserved for just maybe a text thread, or maybe just this space where I'm talking to myself, or maybe when I hop on these lives and I share what's going on in the front of my mind. But even that, we don't do it every day. Bless you.
Thank you.
I like the intangibleness. I like the exclusivity. I like the one of one that I internally feel. And granted, I'm not the first Black guy with a good mic to sit on the live and start talking to people, but I do believe that what I'm giving you, the way I'm giving it to you, is like nobody else. That's what she said. And I think it's all important as I get to this path of greatness and finding my finish line, which is what we're doing right now. It's me. It's really me. It's been me all along.
Yeah, man. And I think that it is really a journey to grow into being comfortable with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, you've been on that journey, you've put in the work, you're doing your thing. And so just keep it up, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, I don't know if I got it from that project that you were talking about, but I had a long time been using the more moves, fewer announcements.
Oh,
and I might have gotten it from that project. I don't know. But sometimes you can't tell if it's your idea if you heard it somewhere else.
True, no facts.
But it's tough when you're white and then you find out you heard it from somewhere else, and then you're like, culture vulture. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I really felt like this though.
I really had that idea. But anyway, but what I'm saying, it's hard out here for a white man. No, let me stop. I'm playing. For anybody who's watching, I'm playing.
Hey, listen. To give you a nice, clean break here. Listen, 2021 is officially the worst thing that you can be is a white woman right now. Like, that's the worst thing that you can be, is a white woman in 2021. So Keith, you're good.
All right. Well, I'll take it.
Shout out to white women though. I
will pray for my mother and my sister, and
yes, because they're actually lovely people.
Yeah, the good folks, man. So yeah, just show up and stunt. Put the work in behind closed doors, and then show up and do your thing, and then take that whole J. Cole. Sometimes you got to do it like you ain't doing, because you never just do it. And I'm like, Cole, man, calm down, man, calm down. Speaking of which, can we talk about that album though?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm with it.
I love Cole.
Okay.
Cole's got a whole lot of that pocket in him where like he's super encouraging one moment and then claim to be a player about do whatever to your wife the next moment. And it's like, he's cool, but he set the bar so high for himself that I think that this album was good, but it left me wanting more.
See? Now listen.
But so this is what we're just talking about, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an art to leaving people wanting more,
right?
And so that plays into it. But at the same time, he set the bar so high for himself that I'll give him criticism that I won't give other people. How many times you gonna mention M's? Like, you way more talented than mention the M 17 times on a 37-minute album.
Fair.
You know?
But listen, I'll say this. As a person that has never been impressed by any J. Cole album on the first listen, I thought the off season was great the first time I listened to it. It's because for me, it turned back the clock to 2009, 2010, when J. Cole only had a few songs before actually completing the warm-up. And I was trying to be like, yo, it was some dude I heard on XM the other day, like, he cold. And I heard this song, Lights Please. And like, y'all got to hear this joint. This joint hard. And and then all of a sudden he's on Blueprint 3. And I'm like, yo, yeah, the dude that was on Blueprint 3, like, yo, that's the kid I was talking about, this J. Cole. Like, he's nice. Like, you should listen to him. And then even when Friday Night Lights, the mixtape came, I was like, yo, yeah, the dude, his album about to drop, like, this hard. You need to go listen to it. And then all of a sudden, he takes a bunch of the mixtape songs that I said people should listen to, and then all of his industry friends. He made his first album, and I was like, I'm so underwhelmed by this. and then we get to Born Center, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm a fan anymore.
Wow.
Then we get to Forest Hills Drive, and I'm like, okay, I get it, man, but this ain't it for me.
Really?
Yeah. And
then I look at Forest Hills like almost untouchable.
Really?
Like, Forest Hills is like, I can listen from start to finish.
Wow.
I know your favorite thing is people talking about no skips.
I know, right?
but you know, when you want to talk about no skips, like, Forest Hills is an album that I can sit down and listen to and be okay with.
Man, yeah, it's
a no for you, huh?
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
Okay.
But I will say this. But in between all that, though, I felt Truly Yours 1, 2, and 3 phenomenal. Like, I was like, why don't you just rap like that over here, and I'll keep messing with it. Yeah. But nonetheless, I keep listening to J. Cole albums because, like I told Jones on Banging on Lunch Tables, I was like, J. Cole is the best rapper in the world with the minute he decides to be. And nobody will be close. Absolutely nobody will be close. The day that J. Cole says, hey, I care, and I'm about to be the best rapper in the world, everybody is going to get out of his way. Because they'll have to. Wale won't be in the conversation. Big Sean won't be in the conversation. Kendrick will not be in the conversation. Drake will not be in the conversation. But he doesn't care that much. That's how great he is. He's so great, he doesn't have to care, and this still happens. That's why I like the offseason, because the offseason was like, yeah, hey, I feel like being the best rapper alive in 2021. And nobody is going to put it out. Nobody in his like stratosphere, talent-wise, skill-wise, will drop a better album than that.
Yeah, and that's why I say he's a victim of his own success.
Yeah,
right. Because he has set the bar so high for himself, it allows me to critique those minor things. Mm-hmm. Like any other rapper, I don't care how many times they say M's, you know. But I look at him and I'm like, for real, you brought Killer Cam on the project and didn't get a verse from him?
I know, man. I was like, man, you gotta let Killer get his stuff off on there, man.
Like, why would you do that?
That's like, on my waist. I got my eagle on. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let Cam cook, man.
No, did you see the meme that had? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, my man. Cause oatmeal's better than no meal. Coke made out of roadkill.
No, I'm talking about the joint where my man had on the Air Force Ones that was sitting on top of the Timbs. And they
Oh
were
yeah.
like, were you waiting to rock with both Locks and Dipset in the verses?
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that a few days ago.
Yeah, but man, they Cole is just, to me, the only other thing that I have a hard time with Cole is that there have been times where I feel like I'm listening to Andre.
Okay, fair.
And I'm like, if I want to listen to Andre, I can just listen to Andre.
Okay, so pause right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel that with Cole, I know you feel that with Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, of course.
Because stone me now, that's why I can't get into Kendrick Lamar like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, look, I'm not saying he's void of talent and rapping ability, but dog, this literally sounds like Stank On Get Meets the Love Below every single time.
I can feel your energy from 2 planets away.
Yeah, and I just don't want to hear that. Like, I just
organized
don't
noise all day.
Yeah,
all day.
Yeah. So and it's just not for me. I will give him a listen. I will always give him a listen because I do think that like the quality of the product is really good. But for me to stamp him as anything, as a leader of the pack, personally, for me, I can't do it. I honestly do have Big Sean way over Kendrick Lamar for me. So,
and being a young man who is not so young anymore, but still situated right out here outside of the city of Detroit, I'll just say thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
But last thing. Speaking of Detroit,
let's go.
And then I'm because it's almost Jesus.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
57. Did you listen to everything between Royce and Lupe?
Well, I heard the Steve Jobs and the Silence of the Lamb, the joint. I did those.
What'd you think?
Man. So Lupe like hates Royce the 5'9", but Royce the 5'9" can just rap better than him. Hey, and you know what? And I'm on record. I almost fell asleep and drove off the road listening to the Cool, but that don't mean that Lupe can't rap. Lupe is really good at rapping.
Mm-hmm.
But Royce the 5'9" just was like, yo, I'm just really better at rapping than you are, dude. And I'm sorry that you feel a way about it. Because that was 9 minutes of just like, yo, I'm just really just better than you, dog.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, the sad reality.
Jay.
What do you say?
He was like, it made my head hurt. Felt like I was taking the SAT.
Jay, you took the SAT?
Oh man.
So what I'm saying though, because I took the ACT. I didn't know we took SAT in Freeport. But
I reneged. I passed. I didn't take it.
So anyway, what was I trying to say? Royce is a perfect illustration of like how a white guy who is good gets way more credit than the black guy who's amazing. And that's not to take anything away from Eminem.
No.
But it's to say that Royce has never gotten his just due. Never.
Part of it is his fault, though.
Tell me why.
I'll say this. It wasn't until the actual Bad Meets Evil project where I was like, yo, I feel like he turned it up a notch here. Because let's not get it twisted. Like from like 98 to like Death is Certain, which I believe is 2004, he was just a really angry black guy that could rap well. But I don't think he was really pushing his pen that far. Once you get past Success is Certain, and I think Street Hop, because I have that album also. Street Hop, because he starts working on the Press Play album with Diddy and all those things. Like, that's when it's like, okay, Royce is finally getting his respect. But when Bad Meets Evil came, like that album he did with him, I was like, okay. So now he's really trying to let y'all know, like, yo, no, if like we really reset this. Only person touching M with these bars is like me. And then he sobers up and he gets even better. Like, respect the shooter and layers and all those things start coming out. So I was like, now it's actual content to what he's rhyming with. And I think now he's at his true apex and his true peak and his true prime. And that's crazy for saying to somebody that's like 45, 46 years old. But if he was rapping, like, matter of fact, if he was Lupe Respond tracting in 2004, then I think your stance holds a lot of weight. But off the fact that like we got like a lot of Gunn and Johnson bars, nah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I think I'll say this, and I know this is just me being me. But 2018, Book of Ryan was the album of the year.
I'm not mad at that. Book of Ryan 2018. I will obviously say no if Tana Talk 3 was 2018, though. If Tana Talk 3 by Benny the Butcher was 2018, I'm going with that. But I love Book of Ryan, though.
The reason I say Book of Ryan is for the same reason that I won't say I love, but I appreciated 444.
Okay.
Because it finally gave us something that showcased what 40 plus men really evolve into.
Word.
And
Facts.
the challenges that you have to, like, it finally felt like the first thing that I could listen to that felt like it was catered to our age group.
Word.
And I was like, finally.
Yeah. And instead of that one or two songs that get tossed out there that you got to add to a playlist and you eventually get to 12 in like 3 years.
40 plus hip hop. Like,
right.
Man, my boys were talking about starting a company called Forever 41. It's like clothes for men who are over 40. Anyway, okay. But yeah, no, the music, man, like Book of Ryan, man, the first time I heard Cocaine, although that's not my struggle, just the relationship with the father and how that, like, I almost cried, man. Like the song was just moving, like, and I can't see none of Jay's comments. So I don't know what's going on.
Sure. He asked when the Saha come out. No Dope on Sundays. I think that might have been 2018 was a phenomenal year, man. I want to say Book of Ryan. I want to say No Dope on Sundays and Tana Talk 3 all came out in the same year. I want to say they were all 2018.
Well, your boy dropped the album that year too. We can't really call it an album. It was like a maxi single. A Black Thought finally.
Yeah, I know, right?
Something that year.
Hey, and real quick, because I've mentioned this a few times. Respect to you, Keith, because in 1996 or 1997, when we were all at Coffee Crib, writing down our top fives, you were the only dude that had the two people that now make everybody's top 5 or 10 now to be like, oh, I know real hip hop, or I'm cool. You had Andre 3000 from Outkast,
forever my favorite, yeah.
And you had Dude from the Roots.
The Roots.
I'll never forget you right now. I was like, Dude from the Roots. I was like, Black Thought or Malik B. Like, no, the
like,
main
not
dude.
Malik.
Yeah,
the black one.
right. But I was like, oh, No Dope on Sundays came out 2017. My bad. I had to look at that real quick.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, like, yo, for you to stand on Black Thought and 3 Stacks in 96, 97, like, I don't care what nobody say now, that wasn't a thing until they went diamond like the second time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and Black Thought just now getting his due for what he do on the mic like 3 or 4 years ago. So I've always wanted to commend you and give props to you for that, because you literally are the person that I know of in my lifetime that kicked off your top 5 with those two guys in it way before that became a thing.
I feel like search discovering Nas right now.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I promise you should.
I'm like,
We did it! We did it! We did it! Hooray!
Yeah.
These are the corny sound bites I have for my advising appointments with students.
Hey, man, you're doing a great job, man.
So anyway, Cam, it's been good talking to you, man.
It has been, man. Thank you for hopping on and giving that conversation. I'm going to use that as fuel for something, and we're going to get some things cracking, man.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. And we should check in more often, man.
For
we
sure.
can talk about it offline, but let's check in more often and get the wheels moving in the same direction.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, man, thank y'all for hanging out this late. You know what I'm saying? We don't usually go this long. That's what she said. But we are glad that you stuck around for all of it. That's what
you've been on for 3 hours.
Believe it. Yeah, because it's, it's 2 and some change.
9:00.
Yeah. I happened like about 9.
Okay.
It's only supposed to be like a 9 to 9:30 thing, but then we ran over. Very, very lively audience today. So I'll take it. Man. You know, but one day I'll be like, yo, I remember when I first started cracking through, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But yes, hey, man, but Keith, again, man, thank you, man. Get some sleep. Get yourself ready for tomorrow. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. And again, as we always end it with love.